This video has been brought to you by the Landscape Certified Contractors Association. Due to the membership support, we're able to bring content to each and every one of you. If you have a topic or a product you'd like us to review, or if you want to become a member, visit www.irrigatortech.com and hope to hear from you soon. Enjoy the video.
About who we are and what we do. We are kind of a comprehensive, full service-based business, and what we specialize in is landscape health and maintenance, and we do it through fertigation systems. So our company is Eco Fert, which is short for ecological fertigation, and as Steve said, they're based down in Santa Ana, Southern California, and we're just starting to move operations up north. And so I get to wear a few hats and try to expand the brand and bring the good word up here in Northern California. But it's kind of a four-step process that we do when we go onto a site, and the market segments we work with are city parks, homeowners associations, cemeteries, schools and athletic fields, things like that, basically predominantly large expanses of grass. And what we'll do is we will come in and do a site analysis and a soil analysis, figure out what the needs are of each specific site, whether it be a park or a school. Figure out what their goals are, what their needs are for their site, whether it's reduced water use, increased soil fertility, better soil health. They've got high traffic use, trying to get the field more resilient. Whatever it may be, we listen to whatever needs they have, and then we will put together, after doing the soil analysis and figuring out what is in the soil, what they have too much of, what they don't have enough of, so on and so forth. We will put together a custom organic-based liquid fertilization system that actually goes through microdosing through small pumps that we have through fertigation, and it's a pretty amazing process. And I'm new to it, but they've been going on, and Eco Fert's been in business now for upwards of 5 years, and the model down in Southern California is working very well. And they've got a lot of positive results with fields and things like that. So once we take the assessment, then we will come in, put together a custom-based amendment system, and along with the fertigation system, and put together the injection system, the pumps, tie them into the main irrigation line, and then we are full service. And so we will come in monthly, we'll monitor, check all the equipment, make sure it's running correctly, and basically it's a full service kind of entity. And Steve, please fill anything that you hear me not saying. But
I'm an industry guy, always been in the landscape business, running my own companies, and then working in project management for very large companies developing properties. One thing that disappointed me, because I'm somewhat of a perfectionist, don't ask my wife that question, because she'll say that I always leave the kitchen counter kind of dirty. But I'm really kind of, for our industry, I'm kind of a perfectionist, and I saw on these beautiful landscapes that our companies would develop that we put brand new plant material in. But nobody really in our industry understood soil or water. They just understood what a spec was on a plan, and they knew that it was either a difficult job to excavate and plant on, or it was an easier job based upon the type of soil. So I had reached a level of frustration in our industry where I saw a lot of disappointment, because you bring in this beautiful material, it's grown in boxes, grown in cans, going into the landscape. Then it goes into the irrigation site, it gets planted, but we lose a lot of the characteristics of professionally grown plant material. Would go in the field and it would just start falling apart, because we as an industry didn't really understand the proper application of water or the nutrient needs of the plants and the soil to feed the plants, and how the plant feeds the soil. So it's sort of a disappointing experience for me, because in anything we do in our lives, and at least speaking personally for myself, is as a professional, I wanted to be the best professional I could be in the industry. I wanted to do the very best that we could. And the two areas that I saw that we were deficit in was water, the knowledge of water, what's in the water, how the water that's being delivered to the site affects the soil, and how that affects the plant, and the soil, and what's in the soil, and what happens to the soil after the water enters the soil. So I saw those as deficit areas, and then I wanted to kind of like reaching that age of accountability, kind of reaching 45, 50, or going, what am I going to do the rest of my life? I wanted to focus on soil, types of soil, soil fertility, major on the macro aspect of the organic side. How do we grow things the way the good Lord designed this earth to grow plants in the natural realm, and the application of water that's not natural rainfall. Up Northern California gets more rainfall than Southern California. But we live in a more arid environment down there, and we're bringing in water that has a lot of qualities that are not conducive to growing plant materials. And as the soil type changes, that affects the growth of the plant. So we have systems and programs that we've developed based specifically to the type of crop we're growing. What is that crop? Whether it's turf or landscape shrubs, or the type of landscape shrubs, or the water needs of those plants, and how to deliver those products to the job site and put them into the water system to go into the soil to change the characteristics of how we grow plants. It's a challenging task because we're not really controlling the application of the water, which is the greatest value that goes into the landscape because that has the greatest effect on the plant material. But we can change the characteristics. We can't change the characteristics of the water, but we can treat what's in the water so when it goes into the soil, it will actually either move through the soil and leach out or contribute to the health of the soil.
Right.
So that's what we do. It's like, you want to be able to present something that becomes real to people in a way that's not too much science attached to it, but actually is solution-based. So we're a solution-based company. We set up the systems. We're not really a sales-driven company for, like, say, fertigation-type systems, but we're using that as a tool to deliver what we need to deliver to the plant to go ahead and make the plant want to grow. You see, understanding plants is, I've had anybody has had aha moments in their life where they say, have the epiphany, and you have those moments, is that you really have to understand soil biology. And I worked with Dr. Engums and some of the leading soil biologists, like kind of in the nation, but the plant feeds the soil. The soil doesn't feed the plant. The plant creates energy in the leaf through photosynthesis that creates an exudate, which is energy that feeds the soil. It's a living component in the natural realm, in the natural environment, that actually contributes to the health of the plant by the process, the synergy of plant to soil and soil back up into the plant. Oxygen generation and then back into the soil and back up into the plant.
And through granular fertilization over years and years, we've kind of lost that. We've lost the soil health. You're feeding the plant, but you've almost got a barren medium underneath it because all you're doing is feeding the plant. So what we want to do is come in and actually feed the soil and add the bacteria and add the humus and humic acids back in there to get the soil food web going, which in turn grows healthy, strong, resilient grass. So through our programs, our base programs is soil fertility program, and that's every site that we do will have that program, and it's the custom organic-based liquid fertigation program that we put in. But on top of that, we've also got a reclaimed water program. So a lot of municipalities, cities are coming into the purple pipe. What we can do is we will add amendments that will actually help flush out and mitigate some of the extra salts and chlorides that come with recycled water, but also add a few amendments that will help release some of the organic properties in the water so they actually help feed the plant. They may be unavailable to the plant without these things. Another program we have is a water conservation program. And we're talking about fertigation and we're talking about watering natural grass, and we're right in the middle of a drought. So you'd think that you'd lose people right off the bat going, well, you can't use that kind of water. But we've actually got an additive that you can reduce your water usage from at least 20%. But we've got parks and areas down in Southern California that are on the 2-day watering period, just like the government mandates, onto the outside of the root system. And it acts as a humectant. It actually attracts water from the atmosphere or attracts water from the soil that would be otherwise unavailable in the natural conditions. So it actually allows the grass to utilize water that's not just coming from irrigation. So you can now water less frequently. So any challenges that any site may have, we have a program that actually will help achieve goals and mitigate some of the problems that you've got, whether it's salt buildup in your soil or whether it's insufficient nitrogen, whatever the issue may be, we can come up with a custom-based solution to help you achieve your goals on your site.
I think as an industry as a whole, we really have to fight this battle that we're up against as far as water conservation and what it is. I think we all need to be conscious of that. But the landscape industry is taking a very direct hit and should come up with responsible, doable ways of conserving water. If we leave it up to government to do that, that's going to be a very challenging thing. And an earlier, not a debate, but when I'm meeting with somebody down there that's talking about rebatable dollars at $2 per square foot, and they have $24 million to save water, okay, to remove turf, and they're going to give you $2 per square foot, that equals 30 acres. So $24 million will buy you 30 acres of turf removal. And think about that as an industry. That is more of an insult to the industry for what your dollars are going to buy than a solution to the problem, because all they're really doing is saying is we are branding turf as the villain. And turf, at 2,000 square feet of turf generating enough oxygen for a family of 4 to live for a year, and they're going to buy turf from us for $24 million for 30 acres, it's a drop in the bucket. It's just a drop in the bucket. And that's $24 million. Is there enough money out there to create a concrete jungle that we're supposed to live in as a society that's going to be like Soylent Green, like we're just going to be human beings without living turf or living plants around us? So we do have some responsibility. We're part of the solution because we have programs that work and that are effective.
And it's sustainable. It's really with, and the issues going with the, and like Steve's talking about, with the artificial fields, you know, the heat island effect that occurs with those. If you've ever walked out on one, on a 100-degree day, and you walk out on an artificial turf field, it's 130, 140 degrees on that field. On a natural grass field, you walk out there and it's 100 degrees, it might be a little bit more humid, but you're walking on a natural surface. And to me, as somebody, I played sports for a lot of years, and it's all about the senses. When you walk out on the field, the smell of the grass, the smell of the soil, there's something to be said about that. It's real, and I feel like it's being lost with the synthetic turf. And I understand the reasoning for it just because of, you know, winter rains and high usage and things like that, but it's not the only way to go. And just getting and convincing people that if it's grown the right, if grass is grown the right way, with deep, strong root systems, that they can withstand the high sports use, the high use, and really come back in a timely fashion to where you give it a little bit of rest after the season's over, and you have a strong, resilient field. Like I said, it's working down in Southern California, but we're new up here, and so trying to spread the good word and get people to jump on board is the goal.
So we are organic based. We have to, you know, with growing conditions, you could have a totally 100% certified organic growing environment, but it's not really feasible when you're looking at turf recovery, sports field recovery, time of the year and stuff. So we are organically based, so at least 51% of the value we put into our systems is organic, 100% organic. So we have to maintain that, because I don't like words in our industry that support a business model like sustainable and all these eco-friendly words and all that. I mean, they're just words our industry has benchmarked to create the reasons how they're going to sell something. You have to be truthful in what you're doing right now, in everything you do. And our industry does not have a good branding record for being truthful in everything it does. So I think as industry professionals, and that's where I really got concerned when I was in the industry and I saw such a shift as far as on the professional levels, I wanted to be something that was the future that actually had some accountability attached to it. That's why we networked our company. And things beyond water conservation and things beyond soil health and all those things, those contribute to a living environment that the plant is stronger and healthier. It's more resistant to diseases. It's more resistant to insect infestations. When the plant is healthy, you have less problems with the plant, okay? I did agricultural analysis for 2 or 3 years. I was sort of a biologist doing A/B assay analysis with big farming operations. And I would be standing in a field at aha moments, like I mentioned earlier. I'd be standing in a field where we'd have injection systems, one 100% organic, and one is synthetic. A field of broccoli, I remember this very clearly. I stood right where our injector was at, right there in the field, 4 acres over there, 4 acres over here. And the field that was synthetic had all those, you know, worms that get in the broccoli. It was all broccoli. Our field had no worms in it. Not one. It was like right there on the line. It's like worms, no worms. Because, see, a plant will give off a resonant frequency of health. An insect, we think the antennas on little insects like that, or everything in the natural realm has an order to it. It can sense healthy, unhealthy. Which one do I go for? The unhealthy side. On the pathogenic side, on the real small, the microbiology side, same thing. beneficial fungal, non-beneficial, anaerobic bacteria, non-anaerobic bacteria. It's all the realm of science. And we were doing crazy studies, Petri dish studies and all kinds of crazy stuff, but at the end of the day, science and all the knowledge and all that came down to aha moments, like, it works, it's real. There's a reason for it. We were using organics and we were growing crops. It's like protein assimilation, mineralization, uptake in the plant on the organic side, 50% increase in the value of vitamins, I'll call them vitamins, going up into the plant. The phytochemistry of the plant. I go, what do you mean? That's healthier for people to eat because that's organic. It is healthier for people to eat because it's organic. There's reasons for it. That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're working at. That's why we want to see a change and a shift in our industry.
And we left a little bit of information with each one of you, of pamphlets and things, and there's also an information sheet on the top. If you don't mind. Anybody's interested, please fill that information out for us. Let us know where you're at and where you are and what you're doing, and if you're interested, and we will